Hey everybody, this is my 20-gallon deep sand bed tank, and so far I have been getting almost no accumulation of nitrate in this tank. And so today we're going to do something that a few other fish keepers I think would probably do, and we are going to actually increase the nitrate in this tank, but we're going to do it by doing a transfusion from another tank. I've been trying to think of a way that I could get the nitrate in this tank to go up to a significant enough amount that I could actually measure it, because what I want to find out is the nitrate actually coming down in this tank. Every time I do a water change, I do have some nitrate in my groundwater, but not very much. And so when I do a water change, I come out with about the same amount of nitrate as when I started, which is somewhere around 5 or 10 parts per million or something like that. So I've been trying to think of a way to get some nitrate in the tank that would be significant, and we'd really be able to see it when we do a nitrate test. We can give it a week and we can come back and we can check and see what kind of color change we're getting. I know it's a little hard to tell on video there, but that little pink, you know, it's not even as pink as 20 parts per million. So we're somewhere between 0 and 20 parts per million in this tank right now. So very, very little in the way of nitrate. But if we take a nice fresh test and we come over here to my 29 miscellaneous, you can already see how dark that's getting. And if we actually give this a minute or so, it will be way up here in the red. So I checked it earlier and it was somewhere between the 100 and 200 parts per million. So you can clearly see we got lots of nitrate in my 29 miscellaneous compared to, you know, it's not even registering as pink. It's just washing out and looking white on camera right there. But that's certainly showing up as pink. So what we're going to do is take a couple of gallons of water out of this tank, just like we'd be doing any normal water change, but the water I'm going to replace it with is going to be water out of that 29-gallon miscellaneous. So again, we're going to do a simple water transfusion, and when I'm done, we should be able to get a significant value of nitrate on this tank, and then we're going to come back and check. I'll follow it, you know, over the next coming days, and we'll see what happens, and within a week or so we're going to know whether or not the nitrates are coming down in this tank. So let me get started on that, and I will be right back. Alright everybody, we are all done. And for the curious amongst you, yes, I did finish doing the water change on the 29 after I moved about 4 gallons of water from that tank over into this one. So I did about a 50% water change on the 29, and now that it is all done, that is about where the nitrate is sitting on that tank. So you can see that's still pretty red after a 50% water change. So what we're dealing with in this tank is now that. And for comparison, I took a sample from the before, and you can see the difference between the before on the right and what we're sitting at now on the left. So it will definitely show up. Alright everybody, it's been 8 days since we put the nitrate in the tank. I've been keeping my eye on it all week, and it really doesn't seem like it's going down, but it also doesn't seem like it's going up. This morning I put about 1.5 gallons of RO water in it to get the level back up to where we started a week ago. This tank, being open top, tends to lose a fair amount of water to evaporation. So I went ahead and topped the tank off, and it occurred to me that if it looked like it was going down just a little tiny bit with the tank as low as it was, once I topped it off, we might actually get a little bit of a significant difference. So right now we are going to go do a nitrate test with the API. We're going to set the 2 vials up side by side and just go ahead and watch the color change and see if we don't see some sort of significant difference. So far I'm not expecting the difference to be too significant, but I'm hoping it'll be at least noticeable. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, we are going to go ahead and finish this video up with a few final thoughts, but I'm going to do a water change first. So there's your before, and there's your after. So I will admit that was not a very satisfying result. I was really hoping to see a significant change between the before and the after on the nitrate test there. But we did get a result. It was not really a significant change, but that's kind of impressive in its own right. I was not shy about the way I was feeding this tank during the week-long experiment. In fact, on 3 occasions, I fed the tank with bloodworms, and I believe this nearite snail down here in the front of the tank has also been dead for a few days in the tank. And despite all that, and despite the passing of 8 days, at the very minimum, we can say that the nitrate level did not go up. And again, it's really, really hard to say. I'd really like to say that the before test was a little bit darker than the after test, but if it was so close that it's nothing I could say definitively. So I don't know. Again, it's not really satisfying, but it does tell me that I'm definitely moving in the right direction, and not really sure why this tank doesn't seem to be developing much in the way of nitrate. I know it's not a heavily stocked tank, but that really shouldn't matter. The nitrate should go up regardless. It shouldn't. There's just no mechanism for it to be taken out of the tank. It doesn't evaporate away with the water as the water evaporates. It gets left behind. The levels should go up. And so just so we know and can wrap this video up with no loose ends, we're going to take one final test. When I did the water change, I drained it down to about, I don't know, maybe 3 inches of water in the tank. I topped it back off. I then took a picture and did some surface skimming to do another 5 gallons out of it. And then I topped it off again, and of course I used my tap water when I topped it off, and I've got, as I've said, about 5 to 10 parts per million in my tap water. And that's about where we're getting again. I know it's really hard for this to come out on camera, but it's showing up way down here on the bottom end of this scale. So we're back to where we started, and that's what I think of as background levels of nitrate. And so from here on, we're going to just make sure it sits way down low like that. On one final note, I will say that during the water change, I added a heater to this tank. This tank had been unheated, and I know that the German blue rams, they might not prefer the water as warm as some people suggest, but they do need nice warm water, and it's been getting a little bit chilly at night down here, and I'm afraid that the cooler water might have a negative impact on the fish, so we put a new heater in there for it. Now, it is one of those heaters that's just a tropical heater. It doesn't have any kind of settings on it. So those I find usually warm a tank this size up to about 80 to 81 degrees maybe. So between the fan that blows in this room and the warmer water in this tank, open top like this, we're going to get a lot of evaporation happening from here on out. So I will be doing plenty of top offs. So alright everybody, thanks for joining me in my little experiment. I hope that was interesting or helpful or something. So thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed. And I will see you real soon in the next one.